Hello viewers, Super GT here. I am at Sim Motorsport for an interesting video today because you might have seen a couple of months ago I sponsored a young driver called Elijah. A very promising kart driver. In the next couple of years he's going to make the switch from karting into cars. So we're here to do a bit of coaching, try to get him up to speed before that happens. There he is, Mr. Elijah. Good to see you, mate.
You okay?
Yeah, how's your season gone? How's it
gone
gone so far?
Good, but there's been a couple of bad things happened, but overall it's been a good season so far.
Yeah, so he was in the lead of the Club 100 Championship, now in second, but a bit of bad luck, still 3 more rounds left to go in that, and then in the Bayford Meadows Championship, leading that one quite comfortably, so I think I put my sponsorship money in the right place. By the way, he has just started a channel, I'll link it below, so do check him out.
As soon as I turn 14, we're just going to go for some scholarships because my goal is to either race in F1 or GT3, and I don't really want to be stuck in go-karting for long, so that's my plan.
So, as I've done it a fair amount this year, GT4 cars at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit, I think it's a good idea to do some testing and coaching around that track. Okay, let's just say 5 laps. Let's see what we can do. Look at the motion on that. Yeah, cold tyres, so bear that in mind, but it's only the out lap. So just as he does this opening session, I think it's quite important to highlight that Elijah is very much a kart driver. He's only young, he's only 13 and not old enough to go into car racing just yet. But he wants to get ahead of the curve. He wants to be ready for when he does go into cars. He wants to understand what it feels like, and you know, the technique is definitely different. So it's a really good idea to do these sorts of sessions to give yourself as much preparation as possible. Now down to a 32.9, so going quicker every lap, which is good. Consistency is really good, which is kind of what you want to see. Okay, last lap up to the line. 32.2. Smashed it on that final lap. Good session, mate.
Thank you.
Really good pace, really good consistency there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting looking at the data there because it is really fine margins. Elijah, it says his fast laps are 32.7, his 32.2 was a dirty lap apparently. A lot of it is just lines and carry speed, the speed that you carry through the corner and on the exit of the corner. I think it's always easier when you've got someone, you know, directly in front of you to give you a reference, so you can visualize it a lot easier. So let's jump out for a quick session now. Okay, so here's my personal best lap from my first session here. It's always a good idea to get out on the track yourself and set down a benchmark and just to really familiarise myself with the circuit. That way I can then coach Elijah on where to improve and how to go faster. So for reference, we're driving the Porsche GT4 Cayman and we are driving around the Nürburgring Grand Prix Sprint circuit, so the shorter version of the Grand Prix. And coming through here, this is turn 4, quite an important corner, keeping it within the track limits. We're on a Setta Corsa, just to make that clear as well. Braking on the 100 board pretty much, we trail brake in to the sprint hairpin, let the car rotate mid-corner before driving off the turn in towards the chicane here. And it's all about getting that rotation in on the way to the left, carrying the speed through the right because it leads onto the back straight, as you can see there. So getting a nice run on the exit curb. And then it's all about the fearsome chicane at the end of the lap. We're not running the tight one, this is the slightly faster one. Braking pretty much about 75 metres before the corner, releasing the brake to carry the speed through. Watching out, of course, for the big bollards on the inside of the curbs. Through the final corner, carrying the speed nicely. Back onto the main straight. It's going to be a 1:31.7.
So there, when he's going through the corner, so he's quicker. But throughout the whole lap, you can just see he's slightly smoother than you are. Not so aggressive. And that has made a tiny, tiny difference, but that's enough.
So I was prioritising a bit more exit speed and getting a bit more speed on the way out of the turn, which tends to get you more time. But I reckon you're actually not that far away, mate. I think just a few little changes there, especially on the way into the Mercedes-Benz Arena, and you've got 31 easily.
Yeah, I was on for a 31, but then I messed up in the next corner, which was really gutting.
Okay, well, we'll go out again, see what we can do.
Yeah.
All right, final session. We're going to try and put together everything we've learned. Not always easy because it's a tricky car, tricky circuit. And there's a lot of pointers we just gave. There's lots of data. Sometimes it can be a bit too much, but Elijah's a good driver, so we're going to see what he can do. So yeah, this is Elijah's second session. In the first one, he was pretty good, had good consistency, good pace, but he knew that he could go quicker. We looked at the data. This is one of the good things about going to Sim Motorsport. They give you all the data overlays and that kind of stuff, so you can see exactly what you're doing right, exactly what you're doing wrong. Sometimes you need a bit of coaching as well, a bit of advice in order to put it all together. So, heading down towards turn 1, this is where he was going a little bit wrong on the brakes. It's quite an interesting entry, is turn 1. There are different ways you can take this corner, and I would say that the slower the corner is, or the more braking you have to do, the more that can go wrong. And that's where you often have to improve on your laps. Elijah was going quicker and quicker. At the moment, setting a 32.0, but he knew that he can get into the 31s. My best lap time on this second session was 31.0. And I was hoping that if he could get into the 31s, get within a second, that's actually really impressive. Given that he's very young, he's not always on the sim, and he's obviously not a car driver. He doesn't race cars and he doesn't drive on the road. And so to have that kind of pace already is pretty good, and to have the understanding is equally as important. So through the Bilstein curve here, onto the back straight, as I said before in the first lap, it's really about maintaining the speed, carrying the speed, which is so important in cars, and not always what he's used to. In karting, it's a little bit different compared to how you drive in a kart. Up towards the chicane then, and it's all about bleeding off the brake, letting the car roll through here nicely, nice and smoothly. A bit of a moment on the exit. The Porsche, a little bit tricky to control with the mid/rear engine. Got to be wary of that. But he's going to come through at the end of this lap to set a 1:31.8. How's he done, Simon?
1:31.8, superb. It's really consistent and an improvement as well, so chuffed.
Yeah, that's what we want to see. You want to see the faster lap time, but also can you replicate it every lap? He's done that.
I'm absolutely amazed. I knew he was good, but I didn't realise he was that good. We loved him on race school, thought he had potential, and he's really taken it on track and done an awesome job. So, we're chuffed, and we just want to be a part of his journey. Great job. What you get?
Yeah, great lap, mate.
Thank you.
Put it there, smashed it. 31.8.
Yeah, I went even quicker, which I'm really happy with.
You feel comfortable with like different lines and?
Yeah, I definitely think looking through it and everything has helped me a lot.
No, really good. Applied what you learned with the telemetry and a bit of advice there with the lines and the brakes. I'm sure if he kept continuing practicing, he'll get even quicker. But yeah, that's a really good little session there. A couple of laps, nothing crazy, but improving all the time. So I spoke with Nathan, Elijah's dad, at Butmore Park. It's kind of a random meeting that we had about sponsoring Elijah. How do you reckon he's done this year in his karting?
Yeah, it's been a great year so far. First year in owner driver, and he's leading the championship and national club 100. He's top 2, so he keeps seesawing for the lead. But yeah, his confidence is growing and his racecraft has been improving. That's probably been the biggest thing through the year. He wants to progress the cars as soon as possible. He obviously started in karting quite late, and obviously he's followed people like yourself and seen that progression from sim to track. That's the route he wants to take. He's 14 at the end of next March, so he can start testing, and we're not sure whether that will be Fiestas, single-seaters, we don't know. We'll just see what opportunities come.
Okay guys, there we go. I think that was a good session. We've helped him out a little bit. I'm always getting asked on Instagram, on YouTube, a lot of you guys want to, find your way into cars. It's not easy, it really isn't easy. But little things like this, just trying to improve all the time, trying to be coachable, trying to understand your weakness. That is one way in. But of course, then it's all about the finances and trying to get the sponsorships. Not an easy thing to do. Maybe I could cover that in a separate video. But yeah, Elijah, he's been great today. We're going to follow his journey, see where he ends up. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.